For the past 6 months, I've been wearing the Ultrahuman Air Smart Ring alongside my Apple Watch. I'm trying to find out if Ultrahuman can replace the fitness tracking features of a smartwatch so that I can finally return to my mechanical wristwatches. But can a ring actually measure accurate fitness data? Before we even get the ring, step 1 is choosing a size. Unlike a watch with an adjustable band, you'll need to select the correct ring size from the get-go. Ultrahuman will ship you this free ring sizing kit, or, and this is super cool, they also provide STL files for their sizing kit so that you can just 3D print your own. This saves on plastic waste and eliminates the environmental impact of shipping. This is a fantastic idea, and I really wish more companies would follow suit. Once you've selected your size, they'll ship out your ring. Full disclosure, Ultrahuman did provide this unit for me to review, as evidenced by this PVD gold colorway they sent, which is a bit flashy for my tastes. If you're after something more subtle, it's also available in black, silver, chrome, and matte gray, the latter of which would have been my pick. And we really should talk about the style, because this is truly a piece of jewelry, even more so than a watch is. The gold plating is done well enough that most people just think I have a chunky ring on, but to the people who know about smart rings, it's pretty obvious what it is. It's definitely more discreet than an Apple Watch is, but it's still a regular conversation starter. Also, as someone who doesn't typically wear rings, it takes some getting used to. It's really thin and light for a smart ring, but you're still gonna know it's there. At least one thing that doesn't get in the way is charging. I've used mine in turbo mode for my entire review period. This mode uses the maximum amount of power to provide the most accurate metrics possible, so it's a good worst case scenario. And I still get about 3 to 5 days of usage out of a single charge, depending on how much fitness tracking I do. And the power-saving chill mode should extend that runtime even further. The Ultrahuman ring has a pretty simple interior, with only a slightly raised portion for the sensors interrupting the smooth epoxy that rests against your skin. But the sensors are supposed to stay at the 6 o'clock position on your finger, and at least on my finger, it likes to rotate to either the 3 or 9 o'clock position. It'd be nice if there was some sort of indicator to help me notice when it needs adjusted, but fortunately none of these maladjustments seem to impact the metrics that it captured. Speaking of those metrics, let's start with the simplest, step count. For yesterday, my Apple Watch recorded 2,940 steps, and the Ultrahuman Ring Air recorded 1,913, which is a pretty broad gap from a percentage standpoint, but on average, I'd say the Ultrahuman Ring is plus or minus about 2,000 steps from my Apple Watch on any given day, mostly regardless of the total count. One area that the ring does seriously struggle with, though, is power sports. It's summertime here in Ohio, and I commute on a motorcycle whenever the weather is nice. The Apple Watch seems to realize that if I'm going 65 miles per hour for 45 minutes, I'm probably not on a bicycle. The Ultrahuman didn't though, and it recorded my entire 1.5 hour round trip commute as an activity that totaled almost 10,000 steps. This also threw the calorie burning metrics off for that entire day as well. The Apple Watch does occasionally trip up with this too, but it seems to use GPS speed as a filter. If I'm lumbering around the woods on an ATV, the Apple Watch also thinks I'm riding a bicycle. Sleep data is more similar between the two, with each usually recording almost identical times in bed. The ring also does skin temperature tracking, something my old Apple Watch Series 7 does not, and while the temperature tracking is super consistent while I'm asleep, it's all over the place throughout the day. My hands are typically cooler than the rest of my body, so it'll record temps as low as 75 degrees at certain times throughout the day. This creates big fluctuations in the daily average temperatures. Cycle tracking usually relies on your body basal temperature readings though, which is the lowest temperature you reach while sleeping. Since the ring's temperature tracking, at least for me, is super accurate and consistent while I'm asleep, I'd expect all of Ultrahuman's fertility awareness features to work just as well as the competition, but obviously I can't test them myself. Workout tracking was one that actually really impressed me though. The ring's tight, consistent contact with your skin seemed to result in much more consistent heart rate readings than my Apple Watch usually captures. That might just be because I wear my watch a bit on the loose side, but it was enough of a difference to notice. It is a bit of a nuisance that you can't end a workout without the ring being connected to your phone, but I get that it's a limitation of the hardware. Ergonomically though, I'm not a big fan of wearing rings while exercising. For something like running, it's fine, but if I'm lifting weights or maybe doing yoga, it creates a weird pressure point that I'm not a fan of. This is really just a personal preference though, and it may just be that I'm not really used to wearing rings 24/7. If you already wear a traditional ring during workouts, you probably won't even notice this one. Now, usually I would be a bit squeamish about reviewing and recommending a 2-year-old product, but Ultrahuman seems pretty dedicated to it. And I get at least one email a week detailing the latest feature they're rolling out, sometimes even multiple in the same week. Like, it's actually kind of impressive. Just last week, they rolled out a new caffeine tracking system with guidance on when the best times are to caffeinate, and a new ultra age metric that takes all of your vitals information and distills it down into an estimation of how old your body actually is, how quickly it's aging, and a separate breakdown of several major systems in your body, along with guidance on how to better care for each one of them. And all of that continuous improvement comes without the Oura Ring's painful $70 a year subscription. You buy the ring and you get to use all of its features for life, as, in my opinion, most things should be. It's amazing how far technology has come. I remember watching the first few seasons of Mythbusters as a kid and seeing all the equipment they had to bring in just to measure heart rate and blood oxygen levels. Two things that just 20 years later are measured 24/7 by the ring on my finger, that apparently you can buy at your local shopping center. I was getting some groceries last week and was surprised to see the Ultrahuman Ring Air on display at my local Walmart, which I guess just goes to show how widely adopted smart rings are becoming. Overall, the Ultrahuman Ring Air is a really cool piece of tech, and if you're looking to ditch your smartwatch but retain all the fitness tracking features that came with it, Ultrahuman's Ring Air is definitely worth considering. Ultrahuman is currently celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the Ring Air, and if you use the affiliate link in the description, you'll receive 15% off now through June 30th. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.